or that caused our reaction to COVID. Almost, you show me a crisis, and I'll show you a greedy, corrupt, incompetent white man. Show me one. Show me any man-made disaster, any natural disaster, anything that's exacerbated or it is a greedy, corrupt, incompetent white man as opposed.
Big Boy's Neighborhood, beautiful day in the neighborhood. Ladies and gentlemen, back in the neighborhood, the great DL Hughley. Welcome back, brothers.
Thank you, man.
Man, all I got to do is say DL Hughley, and then I can pretty much back off.
No.
Right?
No.
Yeah, man. DL, man, I enjoy you in the neighborhood,
man.
bro.
Likewise, baby. Well, we had a great time at your event. It was so dope.
Yeah, man. We did a nice comedy show, man, in December, bro.
Yeah.
Comedy Kings. Thank you for coming out,
man,
bro.
you got to. That's gonna be an annual event.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Remember you said that.
Yeah.
That's why Jessica's here right now. But no, it was a great event, man.
It was tight.
Thank you for making that right for me, bro.
Yeah, man.
You know what I did notice last year, though, last December, is having like you and, said there.
Yeah.
I gotta dress better if I'm doing these shows with y'all.
Yeah.
Because y'all were, I thought I came out in a cool, like, Dolce & Gabbana sweatsuit or something.
Yeah.
And then when I saw them backstage, I was like, oh.
No.
Yeah, I was like, man.
We gonna be fly now.
Yeah, man. I was like, this ain't Comic View.
They know.
Yeah.
It ain't that at all.
Yeah, man.
Because that's what San Bernardino, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because black people don't leave L.A. They go to they run from the police. They got a case in Inglewood, but they moved to San Bernardino.
Oh yeah, man. Like where you at now, man? Right outside the Riverside.
Yeah.
I'm in San Bernardino.
They'll never find me in Hesperia. Everybody knows
man.
that.
You know I'm in Hemet now,
Yeah,
big.
yeah. Blossom Highway.
Hey man,
baby.
because it was a lot of people out there, man. I was like, man, just how long is your drive? They're like, oh, like 30 minutes.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh,
yeah,
okay, yeah, 25 minutes.
It's
I'm like,
actually
you
one
live
of
out
the.
here.
It's where everybody moved. They moved out of the big metropolitan areas during COVID and moved to areas like 29 Palm, those areas. Those outland areas.
Yeah, man, and I remember people too, man. Remember when everybody was doing the exodus to like Lancaster and Palmdale? Yeah, everybody was gone.
Yeah,
and they came back too.
Yeah,
and
man,
we were just talking off air that people that bounced out of California, you said they coming back.
Yeah, well, yeah, because what happened was people could work remote. And then they could take California money and move, and they're like, no, nigga, come back.
Yeah, man.
You can have your job, but you can't have this money here.
Hey, man, they did it here.
Yeah, I bet.
Because so many people had left, and then at one point they was like, oh, yeah, we need you back in the hallways.
2 days a week.
And you should have heard some of the salespeople here. They're like, shit, fuck, okay.
Right.
Oh, that's not gnarly at all.
Right.
They was upset.
You better bring your ass back to work.
Hell yeah, bro. Yeah. Hey, man, but we've seen so much, even since the last time. We were sitting here, DL, we was like, man, when was the last time DL came in? And I thought that it was around the comedy show.
Yeah.
But then they were saying August,
It's a little
and I
bit
beg
before
your
the comedy
difference.
show, wasn't it?
So I guess it was, man. But have you heard now, as we sit today, that Joe Biden signed the ban for TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's funny, we'll ban everything but shit that's killing us.
Right. Yeah, man.
Teachers can have guns in Nashville. They can actually have guns on campus. So I think we're determined to protect ourselves from shit that we'll never ban. Some types of guns. We'll never ban things that actually hurt people. We'll ban drag shows and TikToks.
Right.
It's so it's.
What about the compromise of American intelligence and things like that that we see?
And American intelligence is an oxymoron, isn't it? Like, come on
but now it is.
Come on now. We have the only thing America's really good at. When you look at how countries measure, the viability of a place, education, healthcare, quality of life, we're probably 30.
Hey man,
we're like a fat chick that wears spandex and swears she look good. You like that? You can't tell. You can't. You're right. We're like that, and we have a overinflated sense of ourselves. But the things that we have to be laughable. More the number one cause of death for children in America, 1 to 19, is guns. Not one law to change that.
Right.
But we're gonna ban TikTok.
Right.
Now you can't make a dumbass challenge.
Right.
That's
it showed you.
Yeah.
Hey man, I was watching the Sandy Hook documentary, right? And when you see that whole flush out with the parents, and it was a hoax. You know what I'm saying? And you would think, bro, like, how can that? And I understand rights and all that, and the bear arms, but how can you not make a law?
Because you don't care. When you don't care when 20-something little white kids get killed, like 4 or 5 years, you love pretending you have a soul.
Yeah. You can't even, man. They don't care about us.
No, it's a rap. So I just think we're determined to protect ourselves. And the things that we do now are just hilarious to me. Like we would literally give teachers guns, but not the ability to teach children about sex education. They can have a Beretta, but not a book. It's stupid, man.
Right.
And I just.
And then the book is redacted now, and everything, or pull this off the shelf.
Right. It's hilarious.
It's crazy, DL. Because how old is your youngest?
30. My youngest is 33 today.
33 as we sit today.
As we sit today, she's mine. She's
man, happy birthday to your princess.
Thank you.
I just wonder, like, what is it going to be 10, 20, like Louis, your son is what, 9, 10 months now?
Yeah, 10 months.
What is it going to be when Yael get 15?
I have, but the way it's going, like, isn't it funny that the very people that didn't want you to tell them they had to take a vaccine have no problem telling women they have to carry a baby to term? Like, you can't tell me what's in my arm, but you can tell her what's in her vagina? That's crazy to me. Like, the very people who yell freedom, and the only thing people want freedom in America to do is to tell people what history they can learn, who they can love, what babies they got to have. But the only freedom they really give is the ability to have a gun. That's the only freedom that's been expanded. Not one, not speech, not name me one thing that's been expanded. We give ability for people to carry guns in more and more places. But other than that, not speech, not a woman's autonomy over her body. It's really an interesting thing. Like, I do want to say this. OJ, of course, passed on.
Yeah, man.
And people were really like OJ, whatever you think about him, his race is over. Whatever he did, he earned. Like, if you believe in heaven or hell, he's in one of those, right? So it's over. But, all you can do is have some level of sympathy for the people who are left behind that love them. But when Caitlyn Jenner goes, good risk, I'm like, bitch, you killed somebody too, didn't you?
Hey, man, did you see when Caitlyn said, try to compare death to death?
Here's what I will say. I don't know if Caitlyn killed somebody, but Bruce damn sure did.
There you go.
And I say this. Caitlyn got some balls pretending like she don't know what happened. Caitlyn Jenner proves that you could be a dick no matter if you have one or not.
Wow.
She actually, he killed my neighbor. Remember that the woman he killed lived next door to me. And the thing that insulted the shit out of me is after that happened, he got Woman of the Year after you killed a woman.
Wow.
And they won't let Chris Brown did something. He's 19 years old. This old ass bastard turned, waited till he was 65 to turn a woman and became Woman of the Year in his first 3 months. And they didn't even count the fact that somebody had just died at his hand.
Wow.
It was crazy to me. So when people have these, he was an ass when he was a man, and he's a bigger ass now that he got a coochie. He's the worst kind of human being. But the point is, whether he did it on purpose or whether you did it on accident, some of those family members have a level of resentment about you because you took somebody they love away. And you should at least have some empathy toward the fact that you know what it's like to have taken a life, or you know what it's like to have somebody be lost at your hand, and shut the fuck up. What are you talking about? Only people who didn't murder somebody shouldn't be able to say
Right. Yeah, definitely if you're living in a glass house.
Yeah, so,
don't throw no stones.
Wow.
Right. Man. Especially not two of them, nigga.
Hey, man, when OJ passed, did you know that OJ was sick?
No.
Yeah, same, man.
Yeah. That's how you know he did it, because that nigga lied good to the end, didn't he?
He didn't leave a diary. That's what we're talking about, man.
Said, I ain't in hospice. Didn't he say that? He looked good. I've never seen a dude that close to death with skin that moisturized.
Hey, man, I went and looked at Cameron and Mace page, see if they had anything. Because he come on their sports show. Nothing. I was like, yeah, man.
Yeah, man. The only he went from ain't nothing wrong with me to gone in the same sentence.
Yeah,
I'm like, wow.
I had no idea that he was going, and I've seen cancer.
Yeah,
I've seen it, bro. And maybe we didn't see it. They said he started to lose weight, but until
he does whatever he did, whatever he had. And I think that there's some that the men of that era are not gonna let you know a lot of what's going on anyway.
We know that.
Like Charlie Murphy, we didn't know when that was happening until he was gone.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he would. Like,
were you traveling with Charlie Murphy?
He stopped for we played a gig in Dallas, in I think that February or so, and then he was gone. And I'm like, wow, because he had us believing that everything was cool.
Right. Could you see, was he losing weight? It seemed like he was.
His stomach got a little bigger, but
Right.
but he was still sharp and funny, and Charlie Murphy is the best storyteller I've ever been around.
Yeah, yes, sir.
The best storyteller.
Hey, man, Charlie Murphy never sat with you guys and said, man, because who was on that tour? Was you, Charlie Murphy? Was George on that one?
George and said,
yeah.
And first Mike Epps, but then in the end, Eddie Griffin. And we didn't ever know anything was wrong with it.
So he never sat down and said, I'm going through something. Yeah, and you were saying that, I guess, certain men, it was like, man, I don't put burdens, or I don't.
But he had lost his wife to cancer, and his
wow.
children had gone through that. So he was determined to ease him through. It's just it's a weird time to see all the things that are going on and to realize, like, I think you always kind of have an inkling that life is precious, but when you see people that were so vibrant and viable go, it really is a sobering kind of thing, man. It's an interesting.
What did you learn from that though? And I don't mean learn as in the broad stroke, just pinpoint. Did you feel like, man, I was friend enough? Why you didn't say something?
You know what? I felt like, and it happened with David Arnold too. It's arrogant to believe that because somebody's funny or talented or substantive, and they seem so indomitable, that they have a different metric that they function under. Like, all of us function under grace, no matter where it comes from. And it's kind of arrogant to believe, at least on my part, it was arrogant to believe that I would have more time with him, that I could say something to him.
Right.
It's arrogant. Like that thing, I heard this yesterday, live like you want to be remembered. You know what I mean? Because you don't really know. And like, I just, it's very interesting to see some of the things I see and to realize that I just turned 60, so I got I'm in the back nine, baby.
Yeah.
And
look at me going, yeah.
It is like, and it's a interesting thing to start to slow down and to decide, because I think black men, men period of our era, I never have asked myself what makes me happy. I've never thought I just thought it was arrogant to ask yourself what made you happy. Like, my father worked till he was 84. He died. His family was taken care of. That was it. I thought that was the way it was supposed to go. And now I'm like, do I really want to live my life and not be like, I work all the time. I make sure everybody's good. I do all that. But in terms of what made me happy, I'm 60. I couldn't tell you.
Wow.
I couldn't say that there's a thing. I mean, I love my family. Obviously, I love what I do. But in terms of happiness, it just was such a far off concept to me. I never even thought about it.
Hey, man, when you hit 60, do you start to think different? Because you already said, oh, man, I'm on the back nine.
Well, yeah. No, you know what? I think that I would like the world I would like to believe that I had a hand in making the world better. I think like that. I would like to be a conduit toward my family ascending and being able to do things I never would have imagined. But and I like for the things I do to count. So I think I'm more deliberate now. But whatever it is, it is.
Is it crazy, like, how, like, even right now everybody talk AI?
Yeah.
And it felt like we started having more AI talk.
Right.
Just in the last year. We knew something was coming.
Right.
But now it's common.
Yeah.
And you got to think, man, I remember I saw a post where it was like, these things didn't exist 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was Facebook, as far as like how we consume it now, Facebook, Instagram, all the social media kind of things. Do you ever trip off of what we used to live without to what we can't live without now?
First off, artificial intelligence is not as dangerous as natural stupidity.
Right, gotcha.
You know what I mean? To write an algorithm, or to you got to be a genius. To write a law, you could be a stupid ass.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
We've seen that.
So I think artificial intelligence is not as threatening as people's natural stupidity. But 20 years ago, I remember 20-some years ago, I used to do this 1-800 call ATT commercial. I used to get $1 million to do 3 commercials for 5 years in a row, and then one day we don't even use phone books no more. I'm like, wait a minute,
what are you doing here?
Come on.
Hey, man, do you remember waiting on the phone book? You remember that?
Of
like,
course.
oh yeah. Or when you seen your name in there, like, oh, okay, we're in here.
I remember your phone would get cut off, and you would go to a pay phone with a cup of change and be like, "Hey, baby,
yeah, man.
Yeah.
Hey, man, do you remember in the yellow pages when the pizza in the restaurants used to be this thick?
Yep.
With all the restaurants?
Yep.
It used to look like, man. And you know, that's what I was a big kid, so I used to just look at that. Like, look at all these pizzas.
Right here.
Yeah. Look at all these restaurants in here. Yeah, even with radio, man, it was when we first started it, we wasn't like, oh, just go on and Google this real quick. We had to wait and go downstairs to get the newspaper.
Yeah. Well, you know what was funny?
I remember you used to come in and we used to give you the newspaper.
It used to be you had to have what do they call the word? In radio they give you all the stories
like
on
the
a piece
prep
of
stuff?
paper. They would give you all that, newspaper articles and all that kind of shit. When I first started doing radio, which is 11 years ago, full time, before I got the nationally syndicated show, I used to have to take a big kit with me when I went on the road. Like, and it had a box and it had wires. Now all I need to go on the road is a computer and a Bluetooth mic.
Ain't it scary?
A Bluetooth mic.
Yeah, man, the convenience of it though. But I remember DL used to come to the neighborhood and we would give you the newspaper.
Yeah, because
And either when you were waiting, you would sit and you'd read the newspaper.
You know, I remember when you check into a hotel, they asked you what newspapers you wanted.
Oh, yeah. Do you remember when you checked in out of a hotel, you had to pay your phone bill?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was like you had like a radius where you can call for free.
Yeah.
And then anything else after that. I remember, man, when I was in London one time with the Far Side when I was bodyguarding, one of the group members named Fat Lip, we were there for like probably a week. His bill was like $1,200.
I bet.
Jesus.
I bet.
Yep. And that was just from there, not calling from the label.
Yep.
Like, it used to be crazy.
My wife, we played a gig in Orange County, and she had surgery on her feet. So she was at the hotel. I think it was St. Regis.
Mm-hmm.
And the bill was $900 for 3 days. She was calling local. You remember when you used to have to wait till 7 o'clock before you could use your mobile phone?
Yeah.
Because the charges, you had rollover minutes.
We're different.
Yeah, nights and weekends.
Nights and weekend minutes, man. And now my kids don't know none of that stuff.
Hell no. And I'm glad. You know what?
Yeah.
People don't understand that with evolving technology, you're going to lose some people.
Right.
But only in America do we believe that you should slow technology and time down so that we have a relevance. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
This nigga still want a coal mine. Come on, come on. Like, because it's people still like really want to do that. Like, and I think the one thing I have learned in all of this is to kind of roll with the punches and things.
Yeah, man.
You know, you could be nostalgic about them, but that ain't gonna stop.
Remember phones
used to have a phone look like a briefcase.
Hell yeah, man. And you were happy with that.
Yeah, hell yeah. I don't know how much radiation we got.
Do you remember when you had to take your battery off and put it in the charger?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
It'd be hot as hell.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I remember you had to wrap a towel around it sometimes. Like, man, have we come.
Remember see, this is way young, but I remember you would buy these big ass component sets to play, and the album, the record player was this big, but the component set was giant.
Yeah. It looked like furniture.
And you had to, if it didn't work, you had to put a nickel or a quarter on it so the needle would touch.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, I was telling Ani, we used to have this thing where you had to call the time.
Yeah.
Where it was like any area code. It was 853-1212 or any number after that. And it'll go, at the tone, the time will be 10:56 and 10 seconds.
I remember when you used to get teased when you didn't have a daddy. Now you get teased if you do. Ain't that a bitch? Nigga, you know your father? Oh.
Hey, DL, I remember I was talking to one of my guys, and I probably talked to Jose about this too, man. Do you remember how you always had a basketball, you always had a football, you had a tennis,
baseball,
even if you didn't buy it?
Yep. Always.
I always had that. Like, I didn't start buying stuff until I had kids. But I always had a basketball.
Yeah. Well, you beat somebody particularly.
Or probably said Brockton Elementary School. You know what I'm saying?
As always.
Yeah, Mount Vernon Junior High. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah. It's a whole different, like when I watch what's happening now, like I remember where was I at when, remember when, who just, they just came out with that list, the pedophile list, Jeffrey Epstein's pedophile. And on it were Bill Clinton, and two ex-presidents, Bill Clinton and Donald Trump. And Stephen Hawkins, that genius quadriplegic dude.
Oh, really?
He was on it. That's got to be the worst orgy ever. Like you walk in, hey man, who put the handicap rap in here? He in the corner with the bitches that I love. Oh my goodness. You know what?
One more time, you said what?
With the bitches that I love. Oh my goodness. You know what? Give me my pants, puppy. Move your bike. I'm leaving here, man. I got to.
This dude, man.
I got to go.
Yeah, man. Hey, DL, have you always mastered the art of going home?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. See, I've mastered the art of what's going on? I'm going home.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Yep. Like my wife and I, we've built a beautiful place that I'm not trying to stay away from. Yeah, so I'll work.
Yeah, and you kick your ass home. But that's because somebody said, I think it was Ben Baller said this on a social media. He said, if you see a grown man, a man past 40, and he's out after 10 o'clock and he's awake, rest assured he had a nap earlier that day. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah, man.
He said if he's awoke and like everybody, like
my recovery is different now too.
Yeah,
I remember, man, I could do clubs during the week. I could do this.
Yeah.
Now, man, even now, I feel something. I'm like, man, what the hell?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, that's when I caught something when it was, like everything.
And you will fall asleep. Like people talking about Trump falling asleep in court. I can't blame him because I do it too. Like I'll fall asleep. But you know how many pictures people have of me falling asleep at dinner? Like,
already though.
Now I don't fart, but I fall asleep.
Have you been watching as much as you can? You been following this Trump trial?
Man, you know what it is? The funniest shit, I heard the funniest shit today. Remember when they a couple of months ago they were talking about how black people, slaves, had benefits. So there were a lot of people said slaves had benefits. These are the same dude that said it's torture for him to sit in a courtroom for 8 hours. Shut the fuck up.
Right.
We did it.
Yeah, but we had benefits.
Stephen A. Smith, first off, I think Stephen says. What insults me is when you say something and pretend like you didn't say it. We heard what you said. Then you said, they taking me out of context. Nigga, play the tape. Show me what it is that you said that was different than I perceived you said.
Right.
You said it, right? You said that black people relate to Donald Trump. How? If I know a black dude who in his 70s, close to 80s, is still committing crime, I'm not hanging out with that nigga.
Right,
I'm not.
Right.
I'm not.
Right.
If this dude,
it's just different.
what it says more about what you think is relatable and what you perceive as relatable. It says more about you than it does about him. Once you got convicted of raping somebody, I can't fuck with you. I don't care who you are.
Mm-hmm.
When you committed fraud, I can't mess with you. So it says more about what this dude thinks is, because when you make those kind of broad statements, what you're saying is, from my perspective, from my vantage point, these people think this. Who are you hanging around that thinks an old fraudulent rapist is relatable to you?
Mm.
Who is in your sphere that you think that's okay? Don't be a pussy and tell me you didn't say it. You did. You did. You said what you said. Now I know your head is big. You know, Steven, they got you know how you get brain surgery. It look like that.
Yeah. There you go.
You remember the Indian from Apocalypto?
Right,
remember that? No, maybe it's a lot of space in there. You said it. Stand on it. Don't tell me you didn't say it. You said on Fox News that black people relate to him. What you're saying is we respect criminality. We're held sway by it.
Yeah, we're in the court. We
love it. So don't say you didn't say it. And I get tired of people telling me if he got taken out of context, show me the thing you said that is different than what I believe you said.
Right, and that's easy. You know what I'm saying?
Just press play.
Yep. And
but don't say you didn't say it.
Instant total recall.
And what Stephen A. Smith does, he lionizes white people that do stuff. Dana White slapped the shit out of his wife, right? Mm-hmm. And watch the interview he did with him. He lionized that dude. He softballed him. He lionizes people like that. Mm-hmm. The same thing he would excoriate a black man for, he lionized.
Gotcha.
He slapped his wife, and then the next day, this nigga had a show called Power Slap on TV.
It's so ironic, but yeah.
And he slapped his woman, and you did the interview, you all but apologized for having to ask him that question. This is your MO. You believe this shit, but don't be a pussy and tell me you didn't say it. You said it, and stand on it. Say it's what you believe.
Double down on it.
Yeah, that's it.
Hey man, and it's crazy because I had a interview with Dana White. Right, we flew up to Vegas. We did the interview.
Yeah,
and I didn't bring it up, and it wasn't that. It was just It wasn't in my note as far as to bring it up. And nobody around him said, don't bring it up. And plus, he was an open book.
Yeah.
It wasn't until after people said, oh, why you didn't ask such? And I'm like, shit. You know what I'm saying? But
he's maybe ended from the Slabaho tribe. Right? That's what I think that when you pretend you can't pretend to be tough and a tough journalist.
Right. And especially if that's your thing.
If that's your get down, do it all the time.
Yeah,
but don't sit up and tell me you didn't say it. Like this whole, if black people can relate to Donald Trump because of what's happening to him in the courts, can they relate to Puffy? Can they do that? Why is it him that just has? Because you could say the same thing, right? You could say, but I'm gonna tell you, Puffy went from a private jet to a bike.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, when he was biking through Miami.
I haven't trusted that nigga since he came up with Piece of Rock. I'm like, any peaches and vodka? Somebody doing something.
Why not? Right.
I'm just Peaches and vodka.
Yeah, what the fuck is this?
But this
Do you think Trump is gonna go to jail?
I think that he'll get convicted of something.
Right.
But I don't.
Even the shenanigans in the courtroom.
I think that's why. What dude could talk to the judge like that and not go to jail? How can I relate to you? What
like
dude,
if I was in court, man, I wouldn't even make it out that day without a contempt.
A real spiel. What dude, black or Latin or any other dude you know that could have 91 charges and still apply for a job while you're on bail? If you had 91 charges, damn the White House, you can get a job at White Castle.
Right.
But we relate to you.
Right.
How many people do you know that in the court system got to pick? He's literally picked 3 of the Supreme Court justices that'll be deciding the tone of the case. He's literally handpicked, hired the judge. So he has a privilege. But when you conflate their privilege, because he is the testament to white privilege. What has happened to black and brown people all across this country is a testament to America's inability to be fair and just. So how do you think that's the same? Is my thing. How can I relate to you? I mean, he does have a shoe deal.
Right,
like,
they do. I saw that too. Like, oh, he got a shoe deal, man. That he's getting the minorities. Yeah,
man, let me tell you something. And the fact that you believe that, like, you got a shoe deal.
Man.
This dude got a $500 million bond, $1 billion bond. He had his shit was so bad the general wouldn't give him credit. You know when the general won't fuck with you, you better call Flo. We don't do that.
Hell yeah, jump in that little car with Shaq, like get the hell out of here.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah, man. And it's so much shit. Like these allegations I hear from people, like allegations of drugging women. Like I love sex as much as the next dude. I ain't gonna drug no woman again.
Right.
I remember when lies worked. Remember that?
Yeah, man. When they could just call you a liar.
Remember when you could lie and get some ass?
Did you lie to me?
Right.
Yeah.
A roofie ain't got shit.
Send your representative.
No, a roofie ain't got shit on I love you.
Right.
Like a roofie ain't got shit on just let me put the tip in. Just the tip. I promise.
Just the tip.
You gonna pull out? I promise to pull out.
Yeah, man.
You didn't have nothing? Baby, I ain't had nothing. I got tested.
5 minutes later. Yeah.
Come on. But it's a hilarious. I like to look at these things and how seriously people try to pretend like you're not seeing them. And that's what makes me laugh. I'm like, wow, you just gonna sit up and say some stuff and act like nobody heard you say it. And we gonna it's just gonna like that's why I'll never stop doing comedy because people they'll never stop doing shit I can relate to.
Have you ever had and people know when they go see DL, they're gonna go see DL Hughley. But have you had anybody recently that like walked out or said something to you? Really?
Yeah. It happens all the time. All the
time. Like you went too far?
Yeah, all the time. All the time. I mean that's par for the course.
And
every time you crack this mic, somebody somewhere is complaining about you.
Oh yeah.
Every time.
Oh yeah.
So I just don't care.
Right. Is there a pattern of what you know people going to be offended by? Or
it
just
varies.
Random?
It can vary. Like, but what I don't do, I can't apologize for your reception of the way I see things. What you're asking me to do is to apologize for my perspective, and that's unassailable to me. Now, obviously, you have the right to decide what it is you want to hear, but you don't have the right to decide what I'll say. So you can,
And had they vocally said something when walking out?
Oh yeah.
Damn.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the way.
They just go with the show.
Yeah.
Right.
We gonna finish this.
Yeah, man. You don't crumble.
I think it just happened. Where was I at that it just happened? And my man Gino had to get up, and it happens. It happens so frequently that it's not infrequent.
Yeah. So it's not rare. Like, damn, I can't believe that happened.
I can't believe. No,
you're right.
That's kind of.
It happened again.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you know how to handle it, and it doesn't knock you off your square at all.
Not at all. I tell you what, if I get into a fight with all the security I got, if I get into a fight and I get knocked out, when I wake up, every nigga's fired. Yeah. Everybody. He's trying to say something. His first words are, "You are fired."
Yeah, man. Like just write it down, boss.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is that an F? Yeah.
Yeah, you're free to go. No. You're fine. No, you're fired.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you out. Yeah.
And you do travel with security.
Oh, yeah.
That's very necessary.
Not for, well, here's the
Because I
thing.
see you by yourself.
I just want to go to work.
Right.
I don't want to hear, like, I just want to go to work. And I think that I have people that make sure that, like, I ain't going to carry no bag. They get mad at me. Like, I buy the airplane tickets and the hotel tickets. After that, I ain't touching shit.
I heard that.
What? I don't know what time we get there. I don't know what time. Like, I came down one time and my man Derek, he's a Latin dude that's with me. He said, "I think you're late." I'm like, "Nigga, how can I be late? Like, how is it possible for me to be late? You could be late, but we can't leave till I come here."
Right.
Let's not pretend.
Yeah. I think Houdini said it best. The party don't start till I walk in. Like,
Man, let me tell you something.
I'm late.
And I don't like when I get on a plane, I fly first class. I make them close that curtain because I don't like all that suffering going back and coach.
Suffering?
It's hot. I can't breathe. Close the curtain. I can't take it. It's too much. It's too much.
I'm breaking out in hives up here. Jesus. Hey, man, have you ever got up and closed it yourself?
Oh, my goodness gracious. Come on now. I got to.
What? Hey, man, I remember one time, dude, if they could have put me off the plane, they would have. Have you ever had somebody walk up, they come through the curtain, and you're like, hey, you got your own
no.
Man, I went through the curtain. And it was almost like you have your own restroom back there. And I'm like, oh, okay.
That's not your bathroom.
Yeah, I learned that day. They say you're gonna learn today.
Let me tell you something. So, I was having this margarita and had salt on the rim, and I was like, "Oh, this is margarita delicious. This salt is wonderful." Those are the tears of the coach passengers.
Hey man, you know what's crazy about that, man, is that you can't apologize for your success.
Or you know what? Or my upgrades. I didn't even know. Like, I used to fly American so much. If you look, I've flown 7 million miles on American. I have like 3 million miles for like freaking flyby. I didn't even know. I was in Dallas years ago because I had flown so many times, and they said, call me up, and I thought I had done something wrong. And they go, "We upgraded you." And I said, "How come?" He said, how come you never upgraded? I said, I didn't know how. They said, I said, "Did you take it?" At that time, they give you a little booklet, and you tear a piece out, and you go. And he said, I said, "How many upgrades do I have?" He said, "Enough to never fly coach again." And I never did. From that point on,
really though?
I was like, "Fuck these niggas. I will see y'all later."
Let my hand go, baby.
No.
Yeah, man.
No.
When was the last time? So how long has it been? Do you fly private too?
Sometimes, depending on where we got to go.
Yeah, but you will be in, because I noticed TMZ catch you at the airport a lot.
All the time. So somebody had to be telling them, I'm sure.
Yeah,
it's
man.
A publicist or something.
Really?
I don't know who it is, but it's somebody. It's obviously, and it'd be at the worst times. I'd be arguing with somebody.
Oh, my God, man.
Bitch, what did you? Oh, hey, man. How you doing?
Hey, man, but they walk up on you. When you said the worst times, I thought you was talking about they know when to walk up.
Yeah.
You know, it's always something big that's going on. It's like, oh, we called D.O. Hughley at such and such, and we asked him, and I'm like, oh.
Like the last time last time they jammed me, it was about Khaled.
Oh.
I talked about Khaled. And
what was that? The dudes carrying him?
Yeah, I'm like, hey, man, because, to me, I don't think you have a responsibility to say anything about anything. I don't think that's your responsibility. If that's not in your heart, if that's not in your lexicon, I understand that. But you do have to understand the optics of things. Mm-hmm. We watch Palestinians get carried, but they're dead. They're dead. We watch the news is inundated with us seeing images of family. Like, you're praying because you hit a great shot on the golf course, and I saw little Palestinians here praying to God for the strength to bear the loss of his families. So you got to understand optically how things look. It looks indifferent. It looks callous. And when you have people carry you, so you don't mess your Jordans up. When you can call and get Jordans at the drop of a dime, it looks indifferent to the suffering of people. It looks like you, and everybody's asking me about that. I don't. He doesn't have an obligation to do anything, but there is, whether you agree with this or not, or like this or not, you are judged by the things you don't say as much as the things as much as you're judged by the things you do. And when you do things like that, it looks indifferent and callous to people. It does. And so,
did TMZ run up on you on that one?
Yeah.
Oh my God! And that's the answer you gave?
Yeah.
Wow.
Look, man, I'm not telling people how to live their life. I'm not. But you got people it's whole families that are dying. And he looks indifferent. Like, to say nothing, that's fine. But But to have people carry you when your countrymen are getting carried and they're obliterated, come on now. That's a lot. You praying to get out of a bunker. They're praying that the families in Palestine are praying, and Gaza are praying to find one. Stop it. It's insane to me. So they jam me up about that, or it's always something that I've said.
Yeah, they don't, and it's always something deep or whatever. They never come and say, "Hey, the Lakers blew a 20-point deal." It's almost like they know.
That's every day. And I tell you what does insult me so much is now they're talking about diversity, equity, and inclusion as if it's the thing that has caused America all this strife. America's more fucked up because of GCI than DEI.
Say it.
Greedy, corrupt, incompetent white men are the cause of virtually everything that's happening in America. Name me a thing that a black or brown person did in a position of power that caused the mortgage crisis or that caused our reaction to COVID. You show me a crisis, and I'll show you a greedy, corrupt, incompetent white man. Show me one. Show me any man-made disaster, any natural disaster, anything that's exacerbated or it is a greedy, corrupt, incompetent white man as opposed to diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Damn.
And they will have these arguments as if they're real. If Barack Obama had Donald Trump's resume or George Bush's resume, he'd never be president. But he can't.
Yeah, he would have died on the vine.
Of course,
just one of those.
You couldn't. So don't talk to me. A boat crashed into a bridge, and they blame the 36-year-old mayor of Baltimore and call it a diversity equity. The bridge is older than him. The barge is older than him. What did he do? Every crisis, Boeing is not falling out of the sky because they hired black people. Boeing is falling out of the sky because they hired greedy people. And I guarantee you, it is greedy, corrupt, incompetent white men that is the call. How the fuck you forget to put screws in the door?
Right.
Like that's what that ain't.
Yeah. Hey man, that's almost equivalent to. Do you remember when you were younger and you had to buy a bike in the box?
Yeah.
And you had to build it yourself.
Yeah.
You're like, man, I got all these screws left.
Extra pieces. All right.
I guess that'll work.
Right,
Hell
but
yeah.
they have it is when I see like when they strike down affirmative action. Do you know how hard it is for a black person to get into those Ivy League schools? But they act as if that's the problem. When I see a black person who's a pilot, I know what he had to go through to get there. When I see a white person as a pilot, I wonder if he's a legacy.
Right. Wow.
Their legacy takes up more of those slots than affirmative action ever did. But you blame the people who aren't doing it. Look at George Bush Jr. was a C student at Yale, had a DUI at 30 years old, was a failing manager of a baseball team, and became president because his daddy was. But you tell me that it's because we have to hire representation. Like I heard a comedian who I used to like and respect. He said, "I just want to know they qualify. Qualified don't mean white. It don't mean white." If you see a woman, a black person, or a brown person in a position they've been before, you best believe they were head and shoulders above everybody else.
Yeah, gotcha.
When I see a black person on a plane or somebody who's doing something I never saw them. When I see a black pilot, I sleep good because I know that nigga ain't gonna crash.
Yeah.
I know he ain't gonna do it because I know what he had to go through to get there.
Gotcha.
When I see, like, look at what happened with Hurricane Katrina. They put a dude who used to fucking run horse races in front of FEMA, and we wonder why our response was so bad. Look at who was in charge during the mortgage crisis. It wasn't us. It's never. So this notion of blaming people for things and having these slogans like it's diversity, equity, and inclusion. The thing that insults me the most about that, nigga, when you had it all white, you didn't keep it that way. We didn't volunteer for the cruise here.
Right. I got my thing right here. Am I going?
There's nothing. Yeah. The only reason America is exceptional is because people look at the patents. Look at all of the patents that America generates that are generated. 70-some thousand of them are foreign-born people or people of immigrants. Mm-hmm. So come on now, these white dudes, you stop. Let's stop pretending like you don't need us. If it wasn't for black people just doing what they did, or brown people participating, or people from other people, like when Donald Trump said he wants people from Norway and Sweden, we want white countries. You know what white people from those countries come here to do? They come here to sightsee. This is the zoo to them.
Right.
They come to see the animals and then they go home. Why the fuck would you living up there to live here? The only people who come here to serve, the people who want to make who believe in the idea of America, are the people who America does the least for. That's the truth. Nobody is going to work harder for America than people who she lashes out at. Like everybody talks about, look, the immigrants are coming to taking our job. Name me one job you ever see an immigrant do and you went, man, I wish I was doing that.
Right.
Name, except maybe George Lopez.
Right.
That's the only Mexican dude you see and go, man, I want to do that.
Yeah, man.
You don't want to be
and even he had to be head and shoulders above.
You don't want to be the 6 that got killed on that bridge in Baltimore. You don't want to be the thousands that die in fields, dying at 40 years old and 50 years old. You don't want to do that. But you want somebody to blame for your failings. And the truth of the matter is, because America is so insistent on not sharing, that's the reason it's failing. It ain't because they having to share. It's because they won't. When's the last time somebody did something? Everything that is good about America that people respond to, that love about America, is generally immigrant based. Like it's people from somebody else that make America think America's dope. Oh, look at the freedom they have and how artistic they are and how cool they are. That's all us. That's all us. Everything you don't like about us ain't. You know, so when I hear these things, it's easy to have a comedic vantage point because that stuff just, I think about it all day long.
Hey, DL, if you didn't have your radio show in comedy, because I know you get a chance to really speak. You know what I'm saying? Right. And has comedy changed for you in the last few years?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't like when I see, I am comfortable with people saying things I don't like. I don't like that society that it's flawed anyway, is trying to make an art form conform, and it's always supposed to be a non-conforming. That's what it was initially, but it tries to make art act like it wants society to act, and society is a facade anyway. We're not as accepting and warm and
right.
We're not as genteel as we pretend to be, but you got to act that way. Like we'll say we have a zero tolerance policy for kids fighting in school, but we blow shit up on a regular basis. You know what I mean?
Right.
We have zero. You kids can't be fighting in school, but we watch policemen whip. Like I heard a dude make a point, and he was going, "Well, more white dudes get killed by police than black people do." The problem is we got people that are police and they shouldn't be. I don't care what color they are, they get killed. The problem is that when that many people are dying the way that they are at the hands of these kinds of in these situations, it says that the structure is flawed. I don't care what color the people are. It's that when our lives, are when that many people are losing their lives at the hands of this particular apparatus in all kinds of ways, the number one way to die at the hands of police in America is to be mentally or emotionally distressed. That's why somebody in your family is having an emotional or mental breakdown.
Oh man.
Don't call somebody getting shot.
Yeah, man.
You got help? Nope. Got a bullet.
Nah.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
Yeah.
I think it was in San Bernardino or somewhere with the little 16-year-old.
Yep.
Yeah, man.
So, but that shouldn't be, to me, that's not a hard thing to decide. If that isn't the way you intend it to be, then you should do something about it. If it is, you shouldn't. Like it's insulting to me. What's insulting to me is that they're stopping demonstrations all over the country because they say that Palestinian students at Columbia and at USC,
right?
Because that is hate speak. But the governor of Mississippi had Confederate Day. At the same time that institutions are saying this is anti-Semitic, this is racism, this is hate speak, a governor of one of the states of the United States of America is having Confederate Week, honoring the Confederacy. So that seems to be that we're inconsistent.
Hey, DL, and when I say ask did comedy change, it seemed like when did comedy stop being almost fun? You know, like even when we came into 2024, right? 2024 has been comedy beef, say the craziest stuff. Even when it comes to our genre of hip hop right now,
it's so crazy.
Everybody's piling in, and you sit down, you watch it, you listen to it. But even with comedy,
I had never seen like it was a phenomenon. Like that Club Shay Shay thing was a phenomenon. Like Katt told so much, even Jada Pinkett went, "Wow, why are you telling everything?
Yeah.
What am I gonna say now?"
Yeah. What color is your table?
Right. I think that people saw that and thought, now we're gonna try to replicate it in all kinds of ways.
Mm-hmm.
In all kinds of ways. I'd never, and it's tougher for me to see an art form I love and respect. I think that the stakes are so much higher now than they were before. Like that whole Gerard Carmichael thing when he got in. I don't care what you do. I would never judge another comic's joke. Like when he started talking about Dave Chappelle and how you weren't speaking as a comedian. You were speaking as an expert who was offended by something. Another. I
don't think I caught that one.
Well, he didn't like Dave Chappelle's anti-trans.
Mm-hmm.
He thought that he was going too far that way. And then when he was on another radio show, he was talking about, I'm a big fan, but I wasn't speaking. You were being asked those questions as a professional judging another professional. Mm. Then you did some stuff, and everybody's talking to you about you doing the same thing. I think that you have to live and let live. I think that I have to make room for your creative vantage point the same way you do mine, whether I like it or agree with it or not. And comedy now is a bit, I don't know what happened, but it's this notion that we don't help each other and that we're predatory. I don't know a lot of people like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know where it came from.
Yeah, it just started to get crazy with the this person does this person steals jokes.
I don't know anybody who's never stolen a joke. I don't know anybody who's never stolen. All of every man that I saw, every person I saw on that interview, I know something great about.
Right.
I know the great things that Katt has done. I know the great things Sid and Steve have done. I know the great things Ricky has done. I know what they've done. I've seen them do that.
Right.
I know them to be great, good men.
Have you ever done you done club Shay
I would
Shay?
never do it.
You now?
Which is not my thing.
Right. Would you have done it in the past?
No, I almost did it. Well, initially I was going to do it, and it kept my schedule. It just didn't work out. But I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't. I thought it got to be too messy, and I said it out loud. I think for a while, Club Shay Shay was like Wendy Williams with a weight set. Like, damn, this dude. I mean, it was messy.
I don't, and for some reason, D, I thought we had this conversation, probably not on air. And excuse me if this was a conversation that we had in private. But I remember, I think we had a conversation where it was like, man, when he was on with, what's the other show that he was on with, Stu? Was it Stu?
That's the thing, the biggest thing I have a problem with. The reason that those people went on Club Shay Shay in his first iteration before it became successul is because we saw what he did. And the reason I was going to go on it is because we saw what Skip did to him. If you listen to I said any number of things about the way Skip sunned him, and I thought I was.
Is that when he said put your glass back on or something like that?
That was so horrible to me that I think a lot of people were determined to help this black man be successful because of what had happened to him, and to kind of curate all that bullshit and have that place that they worked so hard for you to have, so you would have your own space, be just an amalgamation and curate all the bullshit that is happening in our community seemed insulting to me.
Right. And we're talking about, man, some of the same people that rallied around him to make sure he was good.
All of them.
That's Steve early on. That's
Sid. That's Quake. That's all of them. And I was gonna go on the show. It just didn't ever work out. But it was because of what happened. It was because of how he had been done on that show, and I thought we thought
and
it was
you was
all
like,
wrong.
"Come on home, we got you."
And then, whether you did it on purpose or not, but that's the hub of all this bullshit. It's the hub of all this bullshit. I mean, I think now it's different because I don't think that's sustainable to have that cauldron of bullshit going all the time. But that insulted me.
Did you watch the whole Katt Williams?
Sure.
Did you watch?
No, I didn't.
You had enough?
No.
Yeah, and
I didn't. When I saw which way it was going, it just didn't.
And
but
plus,
I will
you
say
knew
this.
enough.
I will say this. Now, I've never heard anybody say anything bad about Cedric ever. I was so happy it happened. I was like, I called Cedric and said, "Finally, nigga, they know who you are." Thank you. I was so happy to see somebody say something bad about
him. On in the background, I'm watching this, man.
I'm playing this back. He's right. This nigga ain't shit. No, but it was. I called him. I remember I was at the Neiman Marcus and the thing. And I said, "Man, I was so glad somebody said something bad about you. I've never happened. I think I prayed for this all the time.
Yeah.
I made a voodoo doll that said so somebody would do this, but it just got to be. I just even the fact that in any way I participated in it just made me feel greasy. But I just it's not my thing.
Hey man, Ye just recently came out on an interview where he was saying they asked about a threesome, who would be the third person.
I saw.
Yeah, and he said Michelle Obama.
Yeah. Well, Ye got so many people in his head, he could have a foursome by himself. So it don't make no difference.
By himself.
This nigga said
You just got it up. Yeah.
A bipolar suit. Who the fuck would want a bipolar? Up in the sky, down on the ground. Who want that? This is the thing, man. I remember last year when Kanye scared Kim so bad she started fucking with Pete Davidson.
Yeah.
You know how scary you got to be to make a Kardashian fuck a white dude. You know what that is?
Hey, did you and him ever have a conversation?
You know we did. Yeah.
Yeah, because I just did an interview because I had a situation with him.
Yeah.
And I just did an interview and I brought it up. Yeah. And I know that you said y'all had a private conversation as well. So
yeah, I think he said I think the thing that makes me the saddest about all of this is that I do think he's a brilliant man.
Right.
And I think that it's a transactional relationship that the audience has with him and that he has with the audience because everybody, he lost his mother which is a tragedy, but that's all of us are going to, if you live long enough and life works the way it's supposed to, you're going to lose people.
Right.
We will not make excuses for people that don't make us feel good. It's homeless people everywhere that lost so much in wars and families that they could never, their mind snapped, and you don't feel bad for them because they didn't write Jesus Walks. We only feel bad for people that we feel worthy of our empathy based on the way they make us feel. If they make us feel, good or enlightened, or they make us want to dance, we that evokes more sympathy than somebody who had. So if we're gonna be sympathetic and empathetic to people that have tragedy, that should be regardless of whether they have a record deal or a shoe. But it's not. We reserve our empathy and sympathy for people that make us feel good.
Man, have you seen this Cybertruck, the Tesla truck being
ugliest shit ever. It's the ugliest shit ever.
Hey, bro, and no disrespect, because and even Kobe knew this. And I told people now, I said, man, it reminds me of early Kobe. He had this shoe that was like an Adidas that didn't really take off. And the shape of that reminds me of that shoe. Yep. And I'll see people and I'm like, man, you purchased that vehicle
to look
so people can say, oh, he got the Tesla truck. And now they got a recall on all of them.
It's hideous.
Yeah, man.
It's hideous. It looks like, what was that movie? It looks like every space movie I ever saw.
Yeah, man.
Like when what's his name was in that movie, The Martian. It looked like what he was driving.
Hey, bro, it looked like they did that where they say, man, well, let's see if anybody will buy this. Yeah. Like, it almost seemed like it was a dare or a bet among some billionaire dudes and saying, I bet they'll buy this.
Real spill, it was like those first Yeezys. I was like, who's wearing these?
Yeah, man.
Come on. Well, Elon's the one who started the Boring Company, remember? Just a random-ass Boring Company where they created the flamethrower, like a full-on gun. And it's just
man.
Dumb
you
stuff.
Can't tell me that wasn't like, man, you think they will? I know they will.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
niggas buy pet rocks. So.
Yeah, man.
Not even trying to be funny.
Yeah. Hey, man, it's crazy because I'll see certain things now and they're like, oh, it's the stress look. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I was like, man, if that was the case, then when I was going to public school and we were broke, we created this. Yeah. You know, being a chubby kid with my thighs rubbing together, I created that.
Do you know that?
Patches on your pants, and I created that. What you talking about?
Do you know that's what we do, though? We co-opt the language of the poor. We do. Like all our fashions from poor people. We don't make everything we say. Like all of us have a story about being broke, you know, but we co-opt the language of the poor and never do anything for them. Like you would think that because the most expensive thing in America is to be poor. It's so expensive in America, nobody can afford to be poor here. But we don't care about like people go, well, why are there so many homeless people? What the fuck? They didn't just come from somewhere.
Right.
Shit happened. And you can't have these two things. You can't have abject poverty and and companies making unprecedented profits and think that and you blame the people here.
Right.
I'm like, wow,
it's your fault. Yeah.
And like people got mad. I heard a motherfucker say they got mad because fast food workers in California now make $20 an hour. Right. But it has to be that restaurant that has to do that has to have 60 restaurants in various locations. Right. It's not just a mom and pop thing. When I got married in what was it? February 22nd, 1986.
Man, you better know that better, bro.
When I got married, I was making $4.75 an hour. 40 years ago. Mm-hmm. You're telling me that 40 years later, you think it's a lot because the minimum wage in California is $16 an hour.
Right.
So you think in 40 years, $11 more or $12 more is unreasonable? That's crazy to me. And you get mad that people like $11 a year. That's what 38 cents a year for 40 years. And you think that that's unreasonable.
And you know what's crazy with the wages, man? Everything else went up.
Except that.
Yeah, man. Real estate, food, like, man, I can't, like, think about what you paid 40 years ago in rent.
Exactly. But look at all the places, like, this. It's really simple for me. There are people that are proposing a 4-day work week now, mm-hmm. right? Whereas other people are proposing expanding the age of Social Security. Mm. You know what happens to poor men, poor black and brown men? They die before they ever get Social Security benefits. So you know if you expand them and make it from 65 to 72, they'll work and die just long enough for some old white woman to get all those benefits. Mm-hmm. And they want to do it. So you have, to me, it's simple. Do I want to live in a world where this is a possibility or this is a possibility? Do I want to live in a world where women have autonomy over their own body or not? Do I want to live in a world where people can decide who they love or not? Do I want to live in a world where people are free to learn whatever they want to or not? It's really simple because so when I look at things like that, I'm mad about what happened to Gaza, but I'm not so mad that I'll make my grandchildren have to live in Gilead. I'm not that mad. Mm. It's pragmatic for me. It is not what I see now is what I want to be. Right. Like for Alexander Graham Bell to invent the telephone, he had to literally want to talk to people that weren't even there. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to be this age and not do anything for the people. But the thing that I resent the most, like when I see all these rappers and they love Trump, they all have something in common. They're all selfish and they're all materialistic. It's all about me and look what I'm doing. Trump's, he ain't no different than their rap videos. You don't own none of that shit. You're going to send that all back. But it's the allure. It's me. It's all this. If you are not willing to make the world better for other people, then what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. If you're going to be selfish your whole life, what do you do? And I think that's, for me, the construct I'd like to live in. I'd like to live in a world that where things can look different. We have already seen the world. There's a law now in Arizona that goes back from 1864. Oh, Lord. The men who wrote that law in 1864 believe it was okay to own people. A law in 1864 is now deciding how women in 2024 should live. And it's not the first one. It's going to be, there laws in Oklahoma, Ohio, Missouri. Those are called trigger laws. Those laws were written by men who thought other men should be owned. Mm-hmm. So it's not hard for me to decide, I've seen what that world can look like. I want a different one. It's not hard for me to decide.
Do you vote, DL?
Of course.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Of course.
No, man. I mean, what the
but
fuck?
I don't fuck with the system.
Yeah, man.
People say the more English, you getting paid by the day. No, I say what I believe.
Right.
I fight as hard for my team as you do for yours.
Do you read comments to you?
No.
Right.
Good or bad?
Right.
I don't listen to what my wife say about me. What the hell am I listening to?
But you do use social media.
I do.
Yeah.
I do, but it's more, obviously it's a tool.
Yeah.
But it's not, I'm not like, the thing, we live in a society where reality shows are big because people rush home to watch other people live.
They don't even rush home now.
They
it's right there in your palm now.
Just watch people live. And then do the things they see people do, and that approximate living to them. I'm not that interesting to read about, and I'm not interesting to hear what people think about it.
Hey, man, I do want to ask you this, man. Have you been to any of these Laker games? Are you watching the playoffs?
It's so sad.
Damn.
It is.
Yeah, we blew a 20-point lead, bro.
Yeah, but
do you ever go to the games?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'll say this. The one thing I do not like Denver is an example of a team staying together for a long time. Like Murray, remember he got hurt all those times in the playoffs. They've been together a long time, and they're just now enjoying success. The Lakers try to form Voltron every year.
Right.
Every year, we're going to put these pieces together. Man, sometimes you got to sit in it and work it out and figure out a way to win together.
Yeah.
Like, look at what Minnesota's doing. Those dudes been together a long time, but they figured it out. Like, every team that tried to form Voltron, like Phoenix, try to put these people together.
We've seen it.
Yeah. And I just think, I've been a Laker fan for a long time. I can't pick one dude. Like, I watched James Worthy and AC Green, like these cats we drafted and watched them, Derek Fisher, and watched them grow, and Kobe, we watched them grow. You know, Magic, there's not one person on the team that I can say that we drafted and we grew up as a city loving. And
right.
Like
we know them.
Man, you would do something here, and Derek Fisher will never have to buy a drink in L.A. But he ain't famous no. You know, Robert Horry ain't famous. You know, it's people that wouldn't be famous other places because that's how this city loves people. I mean, but the one thing about the Lakers now is they just go, we're gonna put these people together to answer this thing. But in the end, those people, when you 20 punts down and you know, I know this dude and he know me, we don't panic. We know what each other does.
Yes, calm ball.
And stop blaming
ball.
AD for everything.
Right.
AD is a great. He averaged 27 points a game last series, 12 last year, and everything is. Every time they win, it's LeBron. Every time they lose, it's everybody else. It's crazy to me. That dude is a bad dude. If I was him, I'd leave here. You ain't gonna blame me for every goddamn thing. He played 76 games, 70-some games this year. Who does that?
Most, yeah.
Who, AD?
He played 70-some games, and everybody still told he don't show up every night.
Played a lot.
Damn.
He played his ass off. People forget, man. I watch when Kobe was, he did it or he didn't. But either if you won, it was him. If you lost, it was him.
Right. Yeah, and he was saying too, though.
Yeah, man. So that's why I'd say that you could put the 15 greatest Lakers ever to play and the 15 greatest people who ever played in the NBA, and the Lakers could win.
Yes, sir.
I ain't saying they would. I'm saying they give them all they want.
Right. And you saying like a Lakers super team?
Yeah, if you put 15 greatest Lakers ever to play,
man.
And I'm talking about, we'll say more than 5 years in a Laker uniform, nobody could beat them. Nobody could beat them.
Can you go to a Laker game without a ticket? Just being DL? No.
They ain't the buses ain't that transactional. Like,
right.
Everybody, we got all these salaries to pay. You better pay your money.
And see what I tell people, man, I'm the people's champ.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know the buses and I don't know, you know, but I know that security dude with that red jacket on.
People in low places, baby.
Yeah. You gotta have it. Big. We got you over here. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate you, man.
People in low places, baby.
Hell yeah. Do you understand the D.L. Hughley privilege? We've been talking about privilege. Yeah.
But it's weird to me. It's weird.
Have you
my wife will go, if I go to the airport, they don't do that for me. I know. They don't.
Yeah.
And you should watch your mouth.
No,
just kidding.
Because you got to be with me.
Grateful, damn it.
My wife tell me too. She's like, yeah, babe, it was different without you being.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, man.
You respect that.
Yeah, because I don't get Disneyland tour guides and everything. Oh man, but I know that Jose over there.
Yeah, for sure.
My man, Big, I love you. Oh, can I get through right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Trust that.
I know people like you'll go to restaurants and whenever or you'll go to checking into an airplane or if I see somebody black there, I know I'm good.
Oh yeah. That's what I do too,
I know
man.
I'm good.
I tell my wife, I say, hold on, let me look around, dude. Right. You give me a black or brown?
Yeah. I'm good.
Oh yeah, man.
We just left. I left. Where was I at? I just left Richmond, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
The flight, I got home at 2, had to get into the car at 3, and we were leaving at 5.
Are these AMs?
AMs.
Ooh.
And my road manager called me at 3:30. And we got to get in the car. I didn't get in until 4. Flight's leaving at 5. Get there.
Oh, wow.
We got lost. Get there at like 5:25.
And what time is the flight?
5:01. I saw the sister. I knew it was going to happen. Oh, I got you. Your bag's gone.
And
he had to check a gun, too. My security.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I know that's going to
happen. Oh, yeah. That's when you look like, oh, yeah. And I even stand sometimes, DL, and I'm like, that one.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
and
I'll wait.
And
for
I've been
this
in
one.
places too where I've even told people like, oh, you can go ahead.
Yeah.
You can go ahead.
Oh, I'm waiting for this.
Oh
one
yeah,
right
I do that at
here.
hotels. I do that everywhere, bro.
So,
like for me, not having nothing to whatever it is now. Oh, I'm tacky.
Yeah. You gonna let them know.
Bro. Oh yeah, and I live in my truth. You know what I'm saying? People like, B, we got you. I'm like, all right.
Yeah. Well, come get it.
Yeah,
come
man.
Get it.
You got me. I'll take it. Believe that, man. You
Yeah.
see Kid Cudi just broke his leg.
How do you
man. Exactly. Somebody Google Kid Cudi's age. There's
40,
just some things.
40.
He's 40. There's just some things at a certain age where you just stop.
Yeah.
He was at Coachella. And
Jumped off stage.
Look at this.
Yeah,
It looked like he was gonna hurt himself.
That do it. Anytime you see a grown man hurt himself, you know he was doing something stupid.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I went to go learn how to snowboard.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I almost snapped my ankle completely off my body, bro.
I know a dude in Indianapolis who's on radio who got paralyzed sneezing. He's paralyzed now.
Like
Sneezed.
permanently, or something that they
permanently.
working out?
I don't know if they're gonna work it out, but he sneezed.
How long has it been?
A couple years.
Oh yeah, well,
Sneezed. I remember they gave me, my wife and kids gave me flying lessons, right? And so I was flying the Van Nuys because I wanted to learn how to fly. And so I was taking these lessons. And then I called my insurance guy, Carmel Stevens, man, the Black State Farm agent. I've had it for 40-some years. Carmel, I hope this lowers my premium.
You know, hello.
And I call him, and he goes, "Hey, man, you just got life insurance. If this crashes, your family ain't gonna have nothing. So you had to wait till it matured or whatever it is that life insurance policy needs to do. I had to wait." Because they tell you anything you do like that,
right?
Riding a motorcycle,
yeah, man.
Certain type of activities, skydiving, all that.
Hey, man,
we ain't paying for that.
I remember I jumped off this abandoned boat in Turks and Caicos.
No,
and I remember, my daughter. I remember my daughter looked up, and I remember the last thing she said was, "Dad, don't."
Yeah. Yeah.
And I remember I jumped off that boat, bro. As soon as I hit the water, I'm talking about, as soon as I splashed. Immediately, I fucked up.
Yeah.
I said it as soon as I hit the water. I was like, I said, yep, I fucked up.
This baby bad.
Yeah, man.
I was in New York walking, man, because that's when you know. You a grown man, you know. I was walking. You remember, I think you used to come into New York when I was doing Kiss. You used to come.
Yeah, we used to do a lot of syndication,
right?
Yep.
So remember one of the big snowstorms, right? So I'm leaving my apartment. I still have that apartment now, right? And the snow was real high. Well, if the snow is high, you don't know what a sidewalk is. But New Yorkers do, because they can look for the lamb, they can look for the poles. I'm walking along, and the snow had to be 4 feet high. And I just go, that is not the curb. And I can feel myself falling, and I heard myself go, poof. And when I fell in the snow, and the snow covered me.
You was like, this how it happens, huh?
I was thinking,
you like, this can't happen to me, I'm black.
They had to dig me out of the snow. It was crazy. But I say, you're right. Whenever I watch the news, I know, like, shootings, stabbings, fires, okay. But if I see somebody get mauled to death by a wild animal, like, I know a bear has never even seen a black person. Like, never. Because I think animals instinctively know, if I eat that, I had the same, ate that nigga, now got high blood pressure, man.
Right, yeah. Now look at this.
This dude gave me gout. Yeah. Oh, they go to police.
Yeah. Man, I feel like I'm swelling up. Man, what is that soft level? Hell yeah.
Yeah, I can always tell.
Hey, man, and even when you say about the snow, walking on snow is different. Like, people that's from New York or in snowy areas, they know how to get out the car and skip to the front door.
Nah,
bro, you got to see me. I'm like,
it's a whole thing.
Oh, yeah, it's totally. And now, man, when you get a little older, everything hurt different.
Man, I don't even know how I pulled my groin.
Oh, really?
I can't tell you what happened.
Exactly.
I work out every day, but I'm not heavy. I run all the time. I cannot tell you why my groin is strained.
Let me tell you, man. I woke up one night. I went to sleep. I woke up in the morning. My knee hurt. I was like, how do you sprain your knee? when you sleep. But that's the same thing, dude, where you'll feel something in your shoulder and then you're like, what did I do? You're like, oh, I carried the bags in.
I slept wrong.
Yeah, I slept wrong. You don't hear no 11-year-old saying, oh, I slept wrong.
No,
Yeah, man. You don't hear kids putting halves on it. Nobody say, oh, man, I'm 50 and a half.
You ever wake up and hear someone go, who was that? And you think it's somebody. You snore and wake up. Who? Hey, it's somebody in the house.
Wake yourself up.
When you snore and wake, God damn, who was that? I done that on planks.
Let me tell you why. I just did that last night. I was on the couch, dude, and when I did it, I immediately looked to see if anybody was up. I was on the couch and I was downstairs by myself, but I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, man. Oh, my God. Where's that noise coming from? Who is this nigga? Somebody didn't lock the door.
Yeah. Thank God we made it, though.
Oh, my God.
What did you do for your 60th?
Nothing.
I heard that.
I went to Houston's.
You worked?
Beverly Hills.
You know you are.
I went to Houston's Beverly Hills, and I just, that's it. I just, I'm not, I just wanted to be by myself.
Gotcha.
I think I'm gonna take a vacation and just go by myself somewhere.
By yourself, by yourself.
Yeah.
Where would you go?
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll talk all that shit. I won't go nowhere.
Right. But it sound good.
Yeah, I do. Because I just feel different about things now. I want to, like, what Jesus was in the world for 40 days. I can at least go somewhere. But I just want to take a vacation, see what it's like to, sit around and smoke cigars and
do nothing.
Do nothing. I've never done that.
Damn.
Never. Not for myself. Not by myself.
Right.
No.
Your wife on trip, you say you want to go somewhere by yourself?
But that's where I'm going. No.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But I've never thought now, and I said this earlier, what do I need to do so that I feel
right?
You know what I mean?
Would you go somewhere busy or somewhere real slow?
I don't know. Because it's such a weird concept to me. I don't know. I know that I need to be somewhere and hear myself think and just be alone and be away. But if I turn my phone off for 4 hours, when it comes back on, and obviously I've done a lot of things where you can't be trusted by yourself. But
right.
Yeah, obviously I'm not.
You like, I know me.
Where were you at? Where I was, but yeah. But it's just, and I think like my daughters, like if I fall asleep right now, if I'm on the road, I fall asleep. My wife will call, my daughters will call, like. Not my granddaughter. Like it'll be your granddaughter. If my phone is off for 4 hours, they'll be almost damn near calling the police.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Isn't it crazy how? And we were talking about things from back in the days too.
Yeah.
It's crazy how there were times, man, where you could leave in the morning and wouldn't talk to someone until you got home late at night.
Yep. Boy, that was a great time.
Yeah. Now if somebody texts you, they'll follow up with a call. If it's not a call. It's a text. If it's not back to back, like literally, man, I never talked to my mom when I was at school. I would be sitting here and my daughter will FaceTime me.
Yep.
And I'm like, it's a sign, it's a new day.
They'll FaceTime. My daughter will FaceTime me knowing I do radio. I'm on for 12 to 4, right? You get that I'm on.
And my panic switch is different with my family. So I'm answering like, hello, and my daughter's like, oh, hey, Dad. And I'm like, I'd rather have that than you're like, Dad! But I'm like, Jesus Christ.
They don't have
man. Maybe you claim home and it was like, oh, such and such called, and that was it. Yep. Now it's right there on you.
I wrote it down. What else? I remember when I grew up, every dude I knew had a family on the other side of town, and you didn't find out about it to the funeral. Remember that?
Right. You look over like,
who's that on the crying looking like daddy? Shut up and get in the car.
We got secrets.
Well, I'm telling you, black family got secrets.
Oh, my God, bro. Huh.
Who is that? He your cousin, now your brother. Y'all go to school. You ain't going to fill out no paperwork or nothing. We're just going to continue. I used to be.
That's my cousin.
I used to be so scared. Our family has so many secrets. I was so scared that Wonder Woman had that rope of truth. That lesson. I said, man, if she ever come in, where you find that? Around the corner, fuck with Miss Johnson. Oh, my God. Take the rope off before you find out what your auntie used to do to me. Oh.
Hey, man, we had it too, bro. Ours was more like homelessness and things like that. But then I just went and did like some therapy like 2 years ago, right?
I don't blame you. Yeah.
And man, I was there for like 7 days. This place called Hoffman, and then you do 2 days of integration, bro. I learned so much.
Yeah.
Or let so much go about, like, even with family.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't have, like, you know, other things that other people would have. You know, you own your own problems or you own your own situation. But I was like, oh yeah, there's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, man. I'm scared to do that, man.
Right.
I know this. When this is so weird, but I'll hear everybody I know got a story about how, you know, in this industry somebody tried to touch them.
Right.
You know, I heard Gary Owen talking about, you know, he said he think he got there was a situation where he thought somebody was trying to. No one's ever tried to fuck me to get a role ever.
Right.
And I know I'm sexy as Gary Owen. I'm like, I know
right.
No one ever, no one ever said.
Yeah.
No one ever did it. I'm like, wow, I'm the least sexy dude.
Hey man,
it ain't no casting couch. They standing up in the parking lot. You could have this role. I'm like, wow, now even know I gonna do it.
Hey man, and it's crazy because everybody think, as opposed to just hard work, struggle and strife, that somebody let you in for some freaky shit or something else. And now you got voices that say that. That people believe that. Like even Ani that worked with us, man, she thought that I was in the Illuminati.
Everybody says that.
And I don't know what to this day, I still don't know what the Illuminati is.
No, me neither.
But I'm like, remember I told you, man, I was like, after she said it a few times, I was like, hey, I said, that really bothers me because I am a man that came from a single mother, of seven, that worked hard for everything. I made all kind of sacrifices to be here, and for someone to think that I just had this pass, an ass pass, whatever the fuck it is, or I had a sign and I got in, man, that take away from everything from me.
But it's an interesting thing because I hear people, to your point, everybody that made it, you know, blew somebody or got fucked or made a deal with somebody, and the people that don't always go, well, I wasn't willing to do that. Well, if you're not willing to do that and you think that's what it takes, we should stop talking because you ain't going to do it. Go get another job.
Right.
If you think that's the price of admission.
Yeah, man.
And
you
ain't
it's never going to happen.
Then move on.
Right.
And you ain't got to talk about it no more.
Right. I mean, yeah. So.
But you got to tell yourself stories like this person did something I wasn't willing to do, and that's why they did it.
And man, that rings out way louder and shoots across the world faster than the truth or a retraction.
Of course, nobody ever. Let me tell you something. When I hear people talking about, like, when everybody would go on Club Shay Shay and they were like, "Oh, the truth, it's a club." What nigga tell the truth at a club?
Right.
When's the last time anybody told the truth?
Right,
like,
man.
But that's
Club Shay Shay.
That's what people think.
Need to call that shit Club Shay Shay. Number shade in that motherfucker.
Man, I'm telling you. So I just.
Oh, come on, Katt. You know what that remind me of? You know when somebody, I remember Jamie Foxx, and it does remind me of that, but I remember when Jamie Foxx, when he had his foxhole, and it'd be all them sitting in there, and then somebody would say some slick shit, and Jimmy like, "Hey, stop that! That's a friend of mine." You know, stop that! Hey, I know that guy. They just killing him.
Yeah,
that's the hey, come on, Katt. He thought that Shannon thought that was just enough to keep it cool with everybody. You know what I'm saying? But like, stop. It
was. Man, let me tell you something. It's hard to be solid. Hard to be solid. Hard, but I know so many solid dudes.
Yeah, man.
So many solid dudes.
And that's why it's different when the solid ones get attacked.
Yeah, you're like,
Right.
But
then when you quiet, it's like, oh yeah, he ain't saying nothing. Yeah, then when you say something, oh, he trying to defend it and bat it away. Like, that's why I just stopped.
It's to me, it's almost like I accept people at face value generally, but we live in it's such a predatory kind of situation now, man. And I think that people are trying to protect, you know, their brand, like it's
man,
brands, and it's a really interesting. And I said this a lot of times, but it's an interesting time, and I'm trying to navigate this without.
You know what this shit remind me of sometimes, DL? You ever see at the end of a movie when it's like a guy walking and he just like knocked over like a gas tank or something, then he strike a match and throw that shit over his shoulder and everything blow up? That's the way shit is now, man, where it seems like people, all they got to do is say something, throw it in the air, and they know that somebody's going to catch it and take it as the truth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's just a sign of the times, man.
Is.
And I feel it's going to get worse.
How could it not?
Yeah, man.
it's like a
everybody got a radio show. Everybody got a podcast. Everybody has a device. Everybody, of course, has a voice.
Yeah.
You know, and they use it however.
You know how when we were growing up, you make a copy and then a copy of a copy and then a copy of a copy. It gets lighter and that's us.
Yeah, it diminishes.
We're regressing. Yep.
Yep. That's like the story. You say yeah. There it is. It's a sloppy carbon copy.
I'm glad we got on the last train to Normalsville just left.
Yeah, man.
I mean, because now it's just going to be a whole different thing. But I think like anything else, people will adjust. It's a weird time because we have our perspective in a couple different worlds. We've seen a lot of different things. So we don't know what this is. We know what this was, and it's different. But I think in the end, man, things will recalibrate and people will be what they are. But it's a lot of shitty people out there, but it's a lot of dope ass people.
Yeah,
out there too.
believe that.
A
DL,
lot.
I thank you for coming back into the neighborhood, man.
Always.
And DL Hughley all the way live up in here. Brea Improv this Friday and Saturday, August 26th, 27th, man. Do you enjoy doing like Brea and so-called smaller clubs?
Well, Brea's a 500.
Oh, damn. Sorry. You know what I'm saying?
But I love playing. I love gigging.
Yeah,
I
know.
I love gigging. I might as well fly somewhere because when you leave Calabasas to get the bread, it takes 3 hours anyway. So I might as well fly to Oakland.
Hey, man. And so when you do these shows, you do 2 a nights, Friday and Saturday?
Right.
500. So you're seeing 2,000 people just in Brea in one weekend. Yeah. And that's
like you'll do Dallas like I'll do 7. Like I don't think I should work. Like my agent called, they want to add a show. I'm like, okay. But I think I should probably say no sometime, but I never do. I never
but
do.
you enjoy getting on that stage.
It's the only thing. Somebody said something. It's the only place I've ever felt welcome.
Really?
Ever.
And you don't get like butterflies or jittery or nothing?
Well, I get scared all the time, no matter what.
Okay.
But it's the only place I've ever. When we were talking about my 60th birthday, it was weird for me because for a couple of weeks after that, it had been a lot of stuff that gone on. After that, I didn't feel like myself on stage, and I felt like, man, if I lose this, it's gonna be horrible.
Yeah.
But no matter what has ever happened to me, if I'm connected to me, I know I'm gonna be all right.
Man,
I'm cool. But if for me, whenever I get a chance to be on stage, it's a departure from everything else. And sometimes I stay longer because I'm like, I don't even want to go back to life.
Yeah, the reality back to life.
Yeah.
DL Hughley all the way live, man. Brea Improv Friday and Saturday, April 26th and 27th. Make sure y'all go check them out. Every time you come into town, you know, and it's crazy because you live here, but now you got to say
I drive past you all the
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Hello there, neighbor. Believe that, man. Y'all stick around, y'all radios, Big Boy Neighborhood.